Hi, welcome to another movie recap. We're going to be reviewing Geostorm. In 2019, global warming had gotten so severe that the globe was experiencing catastrophic weather. The world's governments banded together to develop a solution, the Dutch Boy Weather Controlling Device. It launches satellites all across the world, successfully restraining a potentially disastrous hurricane over Shanghai and manages to maintain the global climate stable. Jake Lawson, the principal architect of Dutch Boy, is called to testify in court. Senator Thomas Cross is particularly irritated that Jake began Dutch Boy without his permission. Jake fails to present a persuasive case for his position, instead opting to dispute with the senators, explaining Dutch Boy's success. Max, Jake's brother, attempts but fails to silence him. Following the meeting, Max informs Jake that he has been chosen to take Jake's position, and he reluctantly dismisses his brother. A squad of troops moves across Afghanistan 3 years later. They stumble upon a frozen village shrouded in ice and snow. The troops come across the frozen peasants. Mahmoud, an engineer on the International Climate Space Station, secretly collects record data from the Afghanistan event. When the windows begin to fly away, Mahmoud is swept out into space. President Andrew Palmer is informed of the happenings and convenes a meeting of his cabinet. They conclude that there was a problem with one of the satellites above Afghanistan. Palmer suggests sending one person up to the X's to resolve the matter. Secretary of State Leonard Decom approaches Max and advises that he get Jake to go up there since he knows Dutch Boy better than anyone else, but Max believes that asking Jake would be futile. Max travels to Jake's Florida house, where he meets Jake's daughter Hannah. Jake is not delighted to see Max, but Max begs his brother to assist him in investigating the Afghanistan tragedy, knowing that many lives may be at stake. We travel to Hong Kong, where a heat wave has swept the city. Cheng Long, the head of Dutch Boy's Hong Kong section, is leaving a grocery shop when he drops his carton of eggs. To his amazement, the eggs begin to cook on the pavement. Suddenly, the earth rumbles as subsurface gas mains rupture and erupt. Cheng rushes across the city as other mains begin to blow, producing an earthquake that ruins a portion of the city. Cheng makes it to the center of a bridge as he and other inhabitants survey the ruins of the city. Jake accepts to go to the X's despite the fact that he would be leaving Hannah behind. She bids him farewell with tears before departing with her mother. As Jake arrives at the X's, he meets Ort Fassbinder, the station's commander, and her staff, which includes Duncan Taylor, Ray Dussett, Eni Adisa, and Al Hernandez. They peer into Hong Kong's satellite together, but the robot arm holding it goes crazy, nearly killing everyone until it crashes, destroying the satellite and leaving no data to work with. A massive hailstorm strikes Tokyo, literally carrying hail large enough to wreck a bus. Cheng approaches Max from Hong Kong after discovering that he is unable to check into their satellite. Cheng tells Max that if this weather pattern continues, a geostorm will develop, causing catastrophic weather to strike all around the world at once. Cheng flees his workplace when he discovers that mercenaries commanded by a guy named Rico are preparing to invade it. Dana, a cybersecurity hacker, is then approached by Max. She discovers that Max is also unable to access the satellite, implying that the entire system has been hijacked by someone else. Jake notices a hard drive trapped by a panel in a security film of Mahmoud's fatal accident. He goes out to get it, but his spacesuit fails and he nearly dies. After returning to the station, he shows out the drive, but he maintains it a secret from the rest of the team, believing that one of them may have purposefully sabotaged him. Jake and Ute are unable to access the information while attempting to navigate the route. Jake makes a video call to Max and tells him about their father bringing them fishing. Max shows Dana the video and claims it's an encrypted message from Jake since their father never took them fishing. Max decrypts the message using their father's old phone number and learns that Jake suspects someone in the White House is involved. Max makes an attempt to meet Cheng. Rico is right after him, pushing Cheng into the path of a vehicle. Max runs to a dying Cheng who mentions something named Project Zeus before passing away. He informs Dana that Project Zeus is intended to manipulate the weather and generate the geostorm. Jake and Ute discover the log data in Mahmoud's locker, which is Dasset's locker. He first believes they accuse him of undermining Jake, even holding them at gunpoint, but they eventually come to an agreement. They discover that a virus was distributed in order to prevent ISIS personnel from signing in. Jake calls Max once more, suspecting Palmer of being behind the hack. To prevent the geostorm, they must reboot the system using kill codes, which are with the president, since they are biometric and require his fingerprints and eye scan. Max says this to his lover, Secret Service agent Sarah Wilson, since he wants her assistance in locating Palmer. Max and Sarah travel to Orlando for the Democratic National Convention, when Max discovers that a massive rainstorm is likely to batter the area. As he tries to alert DECOM and seek for his assistance, DECOM takes him to a room and attempts to shoot him, revealing himself as the actual villain. Max rushes to inform Sarah. She devises a distraction to divert the attention of the other Secret Service officers while she pursues Palmer. Helen and Max transport him in a self-driving cab just as the storm strikes. They flee the stadium as it is blasted up by a gigantic lightning bolt. Sarah travels through the city, avoiding Rico and his thugs. They manage to shove Rico into the path of the storm, forcing a bolt to strike his automobile and blow him up. DECOM is ahead of the pack and sends one of his thugs to shoot Max, Sarah and Palmer with an RPG. The automobile explodes, but they aren't inside. Max and Sarah disable the goon and confine DECOM until the cops arrive to arrest him. Before being arrested, DECOM states that his objective was to eliminate America's adversaries and leave the United States in command of the globe with him as president. The virus begins to entirely control the station, triggering its self-destruct sequence. The satellites then lose control, resulting in terrible weather around the globe, including a tsunami in Dubai, a heat wave in Moscow, and tornadoes in Bombay. Individuals are paralyzed, burnt alive, or sucked up. After that, the geostorm counts down to fewer than 90 minutes. Jake quickly discovers that Duncan is to blame for the virus's propagation. Jake goes to beat him up and discovers that he did it because he was offered more than he was paid up there. Duncan inadvertently shoots at the windows before Jake gets out, right as the window explodes out and drags Duncan into space. Palmer is persuaded to send the murder codes by Max and Sarah. Jake phones Max and informs him that the kill codes would only halt the geostorm, not the self-destruct sequence. Despite Max's efforts to assist, Jake prepares to die. The brothers express their affection for one another. Hoot stays behind to assist Jake as he races to take the kill codes to the main computer. They are able to stop the geostorm, bringing all of the wild weather to a standstill. When the station crumbles more, Jake and Ute discover a neighboring pod. The station is destroyed, leading everyone to believe Jake is dead. Hannah is watching with her mother at home and begins to cry. Max is then alerted to a video from a neighboring shuttle showing the pod calling for assistance. Hernandez's shuttle comes to a halt to retrieve the pod, saving Jake and Ute. Max and Hannah are both relieved when they are returned to Earth. 6 months have passed. Jake is rehired at his previous position, working on a new Dutch boy system. Max and Hannah are shown attempting to fish after never having done so as children, but they feel it is too dull. Please do leave a comment on what you think about this movie. You can also suggest which movie I should do next. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.